I hope all you're doing good and you're safe. I want to start with quick recap. Initially, we have started with meaning and knowing the definition of management. Then, importance of management in an organization, why management is so important. Then we have understood the features, that is nature, how the management is. By knowing the features of management, we have better understood the importance of management in an organization. Then we have studied different levels of management, that is top level, middle level and bottom level. In general, there will be three levels, but the levels of management may be depend upon the different factors, different organization types. So, but in general, we divide the levels of management into three, that is planning, organizing and it is top level, middle level and bottom level. So whenever I say management, a word I use management, you have to remember all these functions, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. And even we have seen that the top management's main function is planning and middle level management's main function is organizing and staffing. And lastly, your bottom level, or it can be supervisory level, or it can be even lower levels of management. So the basic function of your lower level management is directing and controlling. But in this today's topic, we'll be learning in detail what will be the management functions. So if it is asked for single mark, you can write just planning. If it is for middle level management, you can just write organizing and staffing. And for if it is bottom level management, you can just write directing and controlling. But the same question, that is write down the functions of management, that too particularly write down the functions of middle level management or top level management or bottom level management, can be asked for 4 marks. There you have to be in detail. You have to write many functions. So the main function is planning, but in planning, through planning, they will be making different decisions. That's what we are going to study in today's class. Be with me so that you can understand them in a good way. First, we'll start with the top level management. You might see in the chart, it starts with the top level management. So top level management, it includes many people. There we have seen examples, that is like CEO, that is Chief Executive Officers, or MD, Managing Director and General Managers. So those people will be counting under top level management. So those are concerned about making plans about the organization. We have understood what is this planning is. Planning in the sense seeing the future. Seeing the future, that is what to be done tomorrow. Or else we can say it is understanding where I am and analyzing and moving towards through the goal where I have to reach. Hence, here top level management, that is it might be general managers, or it might be MD of an organization, or it can be a chief executive officer. They will be thinking what should be a plan for an organization. Through planning, they will be setting an objective for an organization. Are you getting me? Through planning, the top level management will be setting the goals for the organization. When you start plan something, you are setting a goal for something. Is that clear? So, top level management initiates planning function. In planning, we have some other functions. What is this planning in the sense? Means it is setting the standards. Here we will be understanding. We have some 4 functions under planning itself. That is setting overall goals. See, I said, when we start planning, we will be setting goals for ourselves. So, initially the management starts with planning, that is they set overall goals to an organization. Here I want to get you an example. You can take different education institutions. So, their main goal, what may be the main goal? It might be 100% passing percentage. It might be achieving state ranks or district ranks. It will be their overall goal. Academic goal, we can say. So who will be deciding this? What should be our goal? Many people might be running only towards profit. I want to earn a particular amount of profit for this year. This also can be their goal. Apart from that, there will be different goals. You see, we have goals are nothing but objectives. We have seen different goals of an organization in our first year syllabus, and even we have studied different goals of an management in our starting chapter itself. That is in management chapter itself. In last class, you have learned that. So different types of objectives, that is goals, will be set. So what should be goal for my organization, my institution, will be set by whom? Top level management. Be clear here, the ultimate goal of an organization will be set by the top level people. That is, we call them as top level managers. It might be MD, it might be general manager, it might be CEO. Even we generally say them as owners. Only if it is a joint stock company, management will be differentiated from the ownership. If you are running a joint stock company, owners will be different and management will be different. But if you are not running a joint stock company, if you are coming up with a sole proprietorship or partnership, many times the owners will be the MDs, the owners will be the chief executive officers, the owners will be the general managers. It is like that. Only in case of joint stock company, we differentiate owners and management. Management will be the appointed people, not the owners. But in some other forms, what we have studied in our first year syllabus, apart from your joint stock company, all other forms will be having the owners itself becomes the top level management. So the second is formulation of policies. Formulation, it can be formation of policies. Here I want to give a just idea of this policy. You might heard this word policy in our day-to-day life. Many will be saying, now honesty is my policy, we say, alright. Being truthful is my policy, we say, alright. Take it easy, policy, we say. So what is this policy is? Okay, these words you might come across with. So policy in the sense framework. Policy in the sense of boundaries within which we want to act. Is that clear? So honesty is my policy. What this statement says is, whatever may be the situation I come across, I don't leave my honesty. Honesty in the sense, ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಡೋದು ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಂಬಿಕತ್ವ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕೋಬಹುದು. So here policy in the sense a framework, a boundary which I don't want to cross. What may be the situation I face? See, I said truthfulness, being truthful. Okay, being truthful is my policy. So whatever may be the situation I come across, I never lie. What may be the condition? If by saying the truth, if I lose something also, I don't mind, but I want to be a truth sayer. Is that clear? So when I say being truthful is my policy, I never cross my policy. Means I never overcome that boundary. Is that clear? So policy in the sense we can say boundary, or else framework within which we want to act. So we will be setting policies for our own self, isn't it? And similarly, organization, in order to achieve its goals, it cannot behave like anything. It should set some goals, set some policies. It should lay some boundaries for itself. I'll get you an example here. For example, if organization decided to come out with a good quality of product, one of the social objective, isn't it? Providing quality goods to the customers. It is one of the goal objective, right? In order to reach that objective, the management will be setting some policies for itself. A policy like purchasing goods of high quality. Purchasing goods of high quality is the policy. It means no employee or no authority in an organization can purchase low grade raw materials. Is that clear? See, the goal of an organization, the objective of an organization is to give the good quality, high grade quality products to the customer. This is the goal. In order to reach that goal, one of the policy is made, one of the boundary the organization has set for itself, that I cannot purchase raw materials of low grade. I have to avoid adulterated raw material. Is that clear? So when you have such policy, surely all the employees of an organization, important authorities, it might be purchase department, or it might be finance, or it might be some other department, will go with only purchasing quality raw materials to an organization. When such quality raw materials are purchased, with that they start producing the goods, and ultimately when your raw materials are of good quality, your ultimate product will be of good quality. Is that clear? So your goal of coming out with a good product is achieved only when you have policy in your life, in your organization. Is that clear? Similarly, a student may have a goal to achieve a particular rank. I can say straight rank they want to achieve. A particular student, it might be one among you, might have a goal to achieve a straight rank. Okay, in order to reach that goal, you will have a policy for yourself that I want to work minimum 10 hours a day. I mean, you have to study 10 hours a day. This is what your policy, this is what a framework you made for yourself. So when you are able to follow that effectively and efficiently, or every day you have started studying for 10 hours, okay, so that will help you to reach your goal. In order to reach your goal, you have set some framework, some boundaries for yourself. Here I want to say something. Only interest does not take you to the goal. You should be committed towards that. Listen to this. Only if you are interested to do something, you will not achieve that. You should be committed to do that. For example, last example if you take, you might be interested to achieve the state rank, but you are not committed for that. If you are not committed, you will not work hard for that. Only if you are interested, only I will say that yes, I am interested to achieve that, but you don't work towards that. Surely you will never reach your goal. Is that clear? So the top level management initially in planning or through planning, it sets goal for itself, and secondly, it makes some policies. It makes some policies that it makes some boundaries for itself, and all the employees of an organization should work within that boundary, within that framework, so that they can reach the goals. I hope you are clear. Then third one is delegating of authority. Delegating of authority. Delegating of authority. Delegating, the word means dividing and giving. You might heard, na? Delegate the work, we say. See, here we have to understand that authority should be delegated. For example, head of the family, like your father, will be having entire authority in general. It may differ because of different situations in different families, that is different matter. But what I want to say is, in general, father of a family will be considered as head of the family. He will be having entire authority. But if you observe, some part of authority will be delegated to mother. It might be like healthcare of family members or children's healthcare. It is the mother who takes much care of that. Is that clear? Why father is delegating that work to mother, to the wife? Because he knows that entire thing he cannot carry on. Though he has entire authority, if alone he cannot do everything. For each and everything he has to look after. So that is not possible. A single person concentrating on different works and doing that work more efficiently and effectively, it's not so possible. Hence what he does, the authority what he has on his children, he will be passing that to the mother. Is that right? Now, some authority is given to mother. Even some authority will be given to the elder ones, like children. You have brother. So some authority will be given to your brother. Your brother will be responsible to see what you are studying, to guide you, to help you in your studies. So what your father is doing, some sort of authority he is giving to mother so that she can take care of your health. Some sort of authority he is giving to your brother so that he can take care of your studies. Is that clear? In a similar way, in an organization, it starts delegating the authority. What authority should be given and to whom it should be given, to what extent it should be given, decided by whom? Top level management. I'll tell you here. When I say top level management, you have some other levels of management also, like bottom level management and middle level management. It is a top level management, means it is the MDs of the organization, it is the CEOs and the general managers decide what authority we should possess and what authority should we give to middle level management and to the bottom level management. Are you getting me? It is the top level management which has entire authority. Now, the top level management starts giving some part of authority to middle level management and some authority to the bottom level management. Why? Because It is a top level management which is purely engaged in planning function. What should be our goals? How the policies has to be formulated? What type of policies should be formulated to my organization in order to achieve my goal? Such things will be done by the top level management. If they involve in each and every work, it becomes tough for them to plan and formulate the policies. And you might be knowing, setting the goals and formulating the policy is not a simple task. You should have more mental exercise for that. You should be more intelligent for that. You should have more overlook, exposed for that. So if they concentrate on all those things, who will be checking what the exact employee is doing day by day? So what the employee is doing, it should be taken care by the bottom level management. I told you now, in bottom level management you will be having supervisors and foremen. They will be closely connected with the workforce. They are the superiors to the immediate superiors to the workforce, your bottom level management. So here top level management decides what authority should be given to the middle level management and to the bottom level management, to what extent it should be given, authority should be given. Example I'll tell you. It will be in this way. For example, if a purchase manager want to purchase a material for the production department. Is that clear? Want to purchase a particular machinery to the production department. So how the process will be is, first purchase department people receive intent for the production department. Their production department might be saying that I need this particular machinery to produce this. Okay, now the responsibility of purchase department is to get that machinery. If that machinery cost is within 50,000, the manager of purchase can go with purchase. No need of asking his superior. Is that clear? No need of seeking any permission from his superior if it is within 50,000. If it is above 50,000, he should go to the superior. I mean, he should take permission from the superior. If it is more than 1 lakh, his superior has to take permission from his super superior. Is it clear? That is what called your division of authority. So if it is 50,000, as a manager, I will be having authority to grant. If it is more than 50,000, my superior will be having authority to grant. If it is more than 1 lakh, my super superior will be having authority to grant. Who has given us this authority? It is a top level management. To what extent I can grant the things, to what extent I can work. One more example I'll get you. For the simple things, for example, if you want to have a water, say you are in the classroom and you want to have water. So just you can ask the permission of your present lecturer in whose class you want to have water, isn't it? For example, if you want to go half day, you have to seek the permission of whom? Generally class teacher. If you want leave for 3 days or 1 week, you have to meet principals. Are you getting the authority levels? If it is just to have a water within the class, you can take permission from your present class teacher, present teacher who is taking you class, concerned teacher. If you want to have half day leave, you have to go to your class teacher, and if you want to have 1 week leave, you have to go to your principal. So this is what the authority they have. As a class teacher, they may not be having a permission to grant 1 week leave. As a just concerned lecturer, I may not be having any authority to grant half day leave. Is that clear? What authority I have is limited. So it depends upon the levels again. Okay, the authority. So it is a top level management which decides what authority should be given to a particular level and to what extent it should be given. I hope you are clear. Then last point will take crucial decision making. The fourth point under your planning, which is done by your top level management, is crucial decision making. See, decision making is more important when you think of taking a decision, when you have alternatives. When you don't have any alternative, obviously you have to go with the same thing. Only when you have an alternative, you will be thinking of making decision, that is choosing the best among the available things. So what is this decision making is? Choosing the right or choosing the best or choosing what you like among the available things is called your decision making. So crucial in the sense very important decisions. So such decisions will be taken by whom? The top level management. So all these are the functions of top level management. If it is asked for 4 marks or for 5 marks, you can go with these answers and notes will be somehow given to you. The next comes your functions of middle level management. Middle level management. Here, middle level management is next to your top level management, and it is subordinate to the top level management and superior to the lower level management. So here, the functions we have studied, if it is asked for single mark, you can just write organizing and staffing. Organizing in the sense arranging everything, whatever necessary as per plan. And if it is staffing, appointing right people to the organization. This is what you are organizing and staffing. So apart from the basic function, when I say organizing and staffing, it goes with some other functions also, like assisting top management. So one of the prime responsibility of your middle level management is to assist the top level management. They should see that all the things as per plan should be done. Then comes issuing orders and instructions. So according to the, your middle level management always works as a middleman to your top level management and to the bottom level management, that is superiors. MDs and superiors. Okay, so they will be taking orders from the top level management and they will be circulating that to the bottom level management. It's very important task. Why? Because it is the middle level management who will be in direct contact with the workforce, actual employees. Hence, it is a middle level management which takes orders from the top level and gives to the bottom level. And then implementing policies. We have seen now our top level management will make policies. The implementation part, that is arranging everything and start working towards that, is done by your middle level management. And last, exercising control function. We know what is this control function is. Control in the sense setting standards and seeing the actual performance and start comparing the actuals with the standards. So that is done by your middle level management. Whenever top management has some questions, for example, if a company MD want to know something about the organization, he don't contact the lower level employees or direct employees, he'll directly contact middle level management. For example, as a general manager of a company, if I want to know something about my organization, I may not directly contact that employee or supervisor or foreman. I'll be contacting managers. I want to know about production department, I'll be contacting production manager. I want to know about purchase, I will be contacting purchase managers. In that way, your middle level management will be assisting top management. It issues orders and instructions which is taken by the top level management. It starts implementing the policies which are formulated by your top level management. And last, it sees that whether the plans are done as per the actual work is done as per the plans or not. So these are the functions of middle level management in general. So you might be knowing who are there in your middle level management. Examples we have seen, like managers will be having, it might be it will be generally departmental managers. Then, and the last you have is functions of bottom level management. You will be concentrating more on top and last, that is bottom level management, because of many reasons. I'll be getting you. Okay, the functions of bottom level management. You can see here, planning day-to-day work. It is a function of an lower level management. That is, who will be included in your lower level management? Your supervisors, superintendents, foremans. It might be inspectors, like that. Quality control inspectors will be there. So those will be involved in your bottom level management, who will be having direct contact with the workforce. For example, class teacher, I'll be saying class teacher will be under your bottom level management, who will be in direct contact with the students. So it is a class teacher who decides the basic things. Class teacher decides how the performance has to be evaluated, what should be prepared, and how it should be informed to the parents, what steps should be taken in order to improve the efficiency of the students. All these things will be done by the class teacher. So we consider them under our bottom level management. You might be having departmental head. departmental head. See, for example, for commerce department you have a head. So once the bottom level management, that is your class teacher, has done something, that report will be given to the head of the department. Head of the department will look into that and they will be deciding something, and such report will be given to the top level management, that is called principals. Okay, so I told you, in all the organization all the levels may not be maintained. Somewhere only bottom and top level will be there, no middle level management people will be there. It is like that. So it depends upon the size of an organization and the work, that is the day-to-day work what they carry on. It depends upon that. In general, we say planning day-to-day work will be done by the superiors. What should be done today in order to achieve the organizational goal, in order to reach the goal set by the organization, what day-to-day I have to work, that will be planned by whom? Bottom level managers. It is the superiors, it is the superintendents, it is the foremen who will be guiding the employees in the day-to-day work. Assignment of work. Assignment of work in the sense, they will be, the bottom level management people will be knowing the ability of the employees. See, for example, as a class teacher, I'll be knowing what is your particular student's performance in different subject. See, for example, as a concerned lecturer, I'll be knowing the performance of that student only in my subject. I don't know how that student performs in different subject, but that is not my work. Okay, but the class teacher's responsibility is to know about the student, what his efficiency in the different subjects. It is their responsibility. Hence they allot the work in a right manner. They will allot. So they will be knowing the efficiency of the student in the different subjects. So they will be having a complete idea of a student, what he is or what she is, what work she can do. If I allot this particular work, whether he or she is able to do that or not. Such information will be there with the class teacher. Hence we say it is the bottom level management people who assigns a work. They plans what to be done, and as per the plan they start dividing the work, and they start giving that work to the different employees to the organization, because they will be in direct contact with the employees, the bottom level management. Even guiding and instructing, as we know that they are in direct contact with the employees, they will be guiding. It is not the managers, or it is not the MD who directly comes to you daily and says you this have to do, this you have to do, like this you have to do. No, he'll be appointing someone, that is bottom level superiors or superintendents will be appointed in order to guide and instruct the employees. And even they will be saying that wastage should be prevented and duplication of work should not be done. Wastage prevention in the sense doing the work efficiently. Whatever work is given to you, use the resources in an optimum level and see that you don't make any waste. Okay, and then even duplication of work in the sense doing the same work repeatedly. Your superior sees that, your bottom level manager sees that assigned work is completed and that is not, the same work is done by someone else. Sometimes it happens, I might be given an assignment in the class, I might ask someone to do something. So there might be 10 students who have done the same work. Okay, so I'm wasting the energy of the students. I might ask them to do the different work, so that all the different things I might taken and I might explain to the entire class. If I allot the same work to the different students, if all will be doing the same thing, that is what duplication of work we say. That is, a same work is done by one or two. Okay, more than one, sorry. The same work is done by more than one. So one's work will be wasted there. Hence, duplication of work should not be encouraged. So it is the superiors, that is, it is the supervisors who will be looking that employees will not come out with any duplication of work. It wastes our energy, time, resources also. Then maintaining harmonious relationship. See, maintaining peace in an organization is very important. Because we have studied under the features, if I am right, organization sees that the objectives of employees has to be fulfilled. It is a management which sees that there is a good balance between the employees and the owners. Why? Because it is a management which has set goals for the employees and for the society, and sees that all the goals should be fulfilled. So, if you go with such an objective, generally good relationships will be built up between the owners and the employees. So, it is a function of the bottom level management that they should start building a good relationship between the owners and employees. So, this is what your bottom level functions. I hope you got the things. Please go with the things with more interest, because these are the basics you should remember forever about management. Once you start understand the basics of management, all other chapters becomes easy for you. If not, everywhere we have to repeat the same thing. Hence, go with the videos and try to learn. If you want any more clarification, you can just call me. I'll be ready to answer you. Till then, take care. Bye.